We have finally made it to proportions. Thank goodness. Took us a while to get here. The last video I showed you how to work the physical problem once it's already set up. But remember, if you're preparing for your high set or your GED math section of the test, you'll have a word problem, and you're going to have to get the word problem and get to that math problem from a word problem. So this is what we want to do, is write some steps down on how to solve it. So get you a note card, and let's get some notes on proportions. Proportions are so easy, and they use proportions in so many different applications. So let's just make us a little note card for proportions. So proportions, I'm just going to put it at the top, and we're not going to skip any lines on this note card, okay? What are they? They are two equal ratios. That's all they are. We saw that in the last video, and actually some of those ratio problems were kind of proportion problems, but they weren't calling them proportion problems that we did earlier. So that's it. They're just two equal ratios. They're equivalent fractions, if you want to remember that math term. Equivalent. Okay, so anyway, I'm not writing that long word. So they're equivalent fractions. Now, let's write our steps on how we solve it. So write steps. Let's don't skip any lines. Number one, guess what you're going to have to do? Read your problem. So yeah, you need to read your problem so you can know. Because now we're mixing it up. You're going to have to know, am I doing ratio? Am I doing proportion? We're going to just keep adding things to this. Am I doing unit rate? So you have to know what you're doing before you can do it. So then we're going to write on our paper, and you're going to write this out. Write line equals line. Okay, so it's going to look like, I'm just going to come over to the side. It's going to look like this. Line equals line, like a fraction line equals another fraction line. Then number 3, on your problem, you're going to have a ratio, a complete ratio that's given to you. So we want to fill in the complete ratio. I'm going to use the word complete. And we need to use, so we want to fill in the complete ratio with numbers and labels, okay? So you know how I am about my labels, so you got to label this. So let's just go to this book and use their example as we work alongside this, our notes here. It says, at Bright's movie theater, 3 tickets cost $24. Doesn't that sound like a ratio to you? Like 3 tickets for $24? We hear that in the grocery store a lot. How much would 4 tickets cost? Okay, so there's our problem. Notice they don't use the word proportion. They don't give you any indication. You're just supposed to know what to do with that. So let's go over here and continue with our steps. So we have line equals line already on our paper. I'm just going to write this in sequence. We want to fill in the complete ratio with numbers and labels. Well, on this problem, it said you had 3 tickets cost $24. That's my complete ratio. So I have 3T, and it's $24, so you can put your dollar sign before. I don't care where you put it. It's just you want to have it labeled. You know, technically it's supposed to be in front, right? Now, number 4, step 4, we're going to transfer our labels to the other fraction line. Okay, so transfer labels across is all I'm going to write. So if I'm just kind of writing it every time so you can see the progression, you've already got your 3 tickets, you got your $24. I'm going to take tickets and dollars, and it's coming over here. Now, I don't really care that the dollar sign is before the number. The point is to get it in the right spot, okay? And then number 5, after I've transferred the labels, is we want to fill in the third number. Because, you know, like in those problems we just did on the previous video, I'm writing problems instead of number. Fill in the third number. You had 3 numbers and 1 letter. So if you come back to our problem here, it said 3 tickets cost $24. How much would 4 tickets cost? So you see 4 tickets is my third number. It's what I'm calling my third number. But it's 4 tickets. So where would you put tickets? 4 tickets. you would put it with the T. So 4 goes here. And then X goes here. And I'm always just going to use an X because it's easy. I don't want to have to stop and call it a different letter, okay? Now, from here, do you remember what we did on the previous video? I want you to draw your arrow. You should know what that arrow represents by now. And circle. So remember, the arrow means to multiply, and when you circled, that meant for us division. That's just my little shortcut method. And then you take it to your calculator and solve it. And so what's your answer? Work it out, okay? You get X equals $32 because you were looking for dollars. And you can double check yourself because it says how much would 4 tickets cost? Well, I don't have cost. And so there it is. Now I want to show you one more thing before we leave. So let's say you set your problem up like this. 3 tickets and you have 3 tickets and you had $24 and 4 tickets and X dollars, okay? So you've done it this way. Well, your neighbor over there is doing the same problem, and they set their problem up like this. 24 is on top, and their 3 tickets is on bottom, and their X is on top, and their 4 tickets is on bottom. And you say, hey, you know what, you didn't do that right because you got to have this labeled because, you know, in ratios it had to be a certain way and all that stuff. Okay, well, you go draw your arrow and see what you connect. You're drawing your arrow from the 4 to the 24. You're multiplying that, right? You're dividing by that. So let them draw their arrow and see what they're going to connect. Well, woohoo! They're connecting the same thing. And so they're multiplying the same thing and dividing by the same thing. So you're going to get the same answer. So that's something to note. You can set it up 2 different ways. But here's the key. Your units must match. So tickets, if you've got it on top, tickets has to be on top over here. And money on bottom, money on bottom. Money on top, tickets on bottom, tickets on bottom. So your units across has to match. All right? And that is the key to doing proportions correctly.